Welcome to Bloody Besties, your true crime podcast with best friends who have known each other since elementary school. We are your hosts, forensic scientist Ruby Wild, presenting little-known cases to
me, Melissa May, the daughter of police officers and true crime addict, who will be the one to bring you fun facts about our episode. So sit back, relax. Just kidding. Stay sharp, buckle up. We hope you enjoy the ride.
Welcome back. We are here for another episode. Again, we're going to stop giving this little preface soon, but if you're new here, what we do to start with is I give Mel a topic that we will be discussing. She knows nothing else about it except for the 1 or 2 words I give her, and she comes up with a fun fact. Hopefully, that is something that I did not come across during my research. This one was a little bit funny because she had to keep asking me what specifics my topic were on, and I had to get a little bit more descriptive because it was very broad. But the topic for today, Mel, what was it?
You gave me exorcism.
All right, hit me.
So my question to you is, do you know who is history's first famous exorcist?
No, absolutely not.
You don't?
Not even going to try and guess. I'm assuming it's some pope, maybe?
No. One of history's first famous exorcists was Jesus Christ.
No way.
Yep.
You found it? I believe it. We both know neither one of us are religious. We're just going to put it right on that because it's going to happen a few times. But
Yep.
I had no clue. I knew that he was the first risen from the dead, dude.
Zombie.
Yeah.
Zombie
Actually,
Jesus?
no, Lazarus was. Doesn't freaking matter. Anyway, get back to exorcisms.
So they say Jesus comes upon a wild man in the hills who cut himself with stones and was unable to be shackled by conventional means. I guess that means what's conventional? Like grabbing him, roping him?
Back in the day, yeah, it would have to be like rope or something.
So the man said to be possessed by not one demon, but many who were legion.
Oh, that actually comes into play later. But ish.
Okay.
Ish.
There's a lot. This is a hard one to look into.
Oh, yeah. But no. So, like, when you say legend, yeah, legend is many demons. And yes, that will come into play. Don't worry.
So they say that Jesus transported the devils that this guy was possessed by into the bodies of a few hundred nearby poor piggies. Poor little pigs just living their pastured best lives, and then Jesus comes by.
Don't get me wrong. Pigs are stinking adorable, and I absolutely love them, and they are also really tasty.
They're so big and so good.
So, I mean, I still feel really bad. They don't deserve to be possessed.
No. So,
plus I don't want possessed bacon.
Well, that's fine because the 200 swine then proceeded to commit mass suicide.
No.
Yeah, they ran into the sea, thus saving the soul of this wild caveman.
No.
You sacrificed the 200 poor piggies for this one wild caveman?
Also, okay. But this is a bunch of religion talk that I'm sure I won't have answers to, especially the two of us discussing this together. So I'm going to have to bring this to someone else. But I want to know what made the demons decide to run into the water and commit suicide. Is it because they didn't want to be pigs? Well, it's not like the pigs chose to do that. Well, that's a good start to what we're talking about. Not even kidding you. Because we are starting in January of 1993. And it was then that police arrived at Ralph and Joan Vollmer's house in 1993 in Antwerp, north of Melbourne, Australia. Wait, is it Melbourne? Melbourne?
I was stuck on Antwerp. That's a weird word.
I like it. But you know what? I should have asked my friend Barnaby how to pronounce this, but Melbourne, Australia. The weather was hot, the house was rural, and no one seemed to be bothered that there was a body present. Yup. So the local Baptist minister, Roger Atzewis, had called earlier the local doctor or the police. It's kind of like wishy-washy. I don't know why the reporting on this is very wishy-washy.
In 1997, it feels
93.
Okay, 93, the reporting should have been better.
We were in high school.
Yeah.
So
No.
Yeah.
Elementary? No.
No.
I mean, the one but
Junior high?
Junior high, yeah.
Were we?
98, 97, 6. Yeah. We were scrubs.
I don't want no scrubs.
Yeah.
Close enough. So he notified either the doctor or the police. There's conflicting reports, and he told them there's a decomposing woman here,
Gross.
and people are just sitting around her having lunch.
Oh.
Yeah. It sounded outrageous. So it was the truth. There was a woman, Joan. She was dead on the floor, decomposing, covered in flies, and everyone around was just fine, just chilling. So what happened? Ralph was a 55-year-old German migrant pig farmer.
Oh. Swine.
Right? Who was with his wife, Joan, who was 49, and they were members of the Charismatic Movement, which is a Christian group that seeks direction, interaction with the Holy Spirit. This was both of their second marriages, and according to one article, I found that her first husband actually committed suicide. Like I said, one article, take it with a grain of salt. Now, again, according to one source, there was a daughter and a son that existed, but nothing really was written about either one of them. So I'm assuming if they do exist, they want absolutely nothing to do with this case.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. You know? Anonymity. It's fine. Joan had been committed involuntarily to Lakeside Hospital. It was a psychiatric institution in 1990, and she was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia. When she was released, she admitted to Ralph, "I'm not going to take my meds." Now, I couldn't definitively find out how much before the incident this was that she was released. It could be 3 months or 3 years. I'm 99% sure it's 3 months before. And she was just like, "I'm done. We're good." And it was because of this that Ralph said she started acting strangely. So you have a woman who's acting erratically enough to get involuntarily committed. She gets treated. Things are going good. She gets released and says, "I'm good. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to take my meds. I don't need to go through therapy. We're fine." And the husband's like, "Yeah, you're acting weird. I have a feeling these things are connected. Might be a personal feeling. I don't know. So she would dance outside, waving her arms erratically. She would swear loudly at people that were not there. Ralph then claimed she was acting like a prostitute, quote unquote. Uh-huh. I don't know what that means. It was just, he would tell people, she's acting like a prostitute. And he then said that she would take on the shape of a pig or a dog. And sometimes she adopted the personality of a sheep shearer. So that is erratic. I'm not going to lie. But you also, I would say, every single one of us listening and the two of us together have seen people not on their medication acting kind of like this, right?
Yeah, I guess. Out in the streets of Los Angeles.
And Nashville. I mean, come on. I just sent you a video of today of a dude walking through Broadway that literally climbed himself into the back of a police car.
Oh my gosh.
You haven't watched it yet.
I was driving.
But I sent it to you today. So, believing that her father pledged her to Satan when she was 3, he decided that she must be possessed and needed an exorcism. I mean, it's not like it's any secret that this is where this is going. It's the topic of the day. So he tried at first himself to get rid of her demons by locking her in their basement. And this was followed by tying her into a bed. But she screamed all night long and day. And so he figured, I must not be doing enough. So he needed help and reached out to John Reichenbach, 31, and his wife, Leanne, 32. And together with spiritual leader, expelled Lutheran spiritual leader, Leah Clugston, and she started guiding them over the phone as they tried to get rid of her evil spirit. It was decided that she had 10 demons in her body, so they needed to buckle down. She was tied to a chair with her own stockings. They didn't give her any food or water, no matter how much she begged, because they believed that if they made her body inhospitable, they would leave her. I mean,
that checks.
It does in a weird way. You're right. It does. I mean, it's like every sci-fi movie, like, put him in the freezing cold and the alien will leave. It does check. You're right. I can't be mad about that.
Never turns out well for the person who it's the body that's leaving.
No.
Like, rarely do they survive.
Exactly. And so whenever she would try to blink or sleep, they would pry her eyes open. And that was so that the demons had a path that they could exit.
Like, just come out my mouth.
Right? So same thing, like
sleep with my mouth
like
open.
her mouth had to be open, nostrils, ears, eyes, like everything had to be open. And it still wasn't working. So now we enter another helper, grain harvester David Klinger, who was 28. He took the lead on restraining her with more stockings, and he started slapping her in the face and praying. Now, after 3 days, the 8 demons were gone, 8 of the 10. And they were just dealing with the last 2 who were strong and male and who were hanging on strong. And they believed that those 2 were continuing to fight their attempts to cure her. They needed more help. That's when 23-year-old Matthew Newski, a golf course greenkeeper, joined them. His mother had told him that he had the ability to exorcise demons, even though he had never attempted the feat before. So his mom said, "I'll help them. You know how to exorcise demons." And he was like,
I got this.
exactly. Pretty much that's how it happened. Yeah. And he told the group to destroy everything of hers, smash her greenhouse. I would kill you for that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, record scratch. I would not kill you for that, but I'd be really upset, okay? But I would not kill you for it.
Maybe.
Well, you can say that. I can't. They also damaged her garden beds. Rude. Because they said that all of it was possessed with her demon energy. So no clothing, no belongings, no garden even. That's why I bring up the garden. And it was personal to me. He blessed olive oil and told the group to cover themselves in it. He then ran around the house with 7 layers of Glad wrap, which is cling film. For anybody who doesn't know what Glad wrap is. Literally, could you just picture somebody with a roll of it?
It's ready.
Doing loops. And the demons were identified by him. It was a mother and daughter named Princess Joan and Princess Baby Joan. And Legion. See? And that was a group of powerful demons. So either those that they were dealing with more than they thought, it wasn't clear. So like if Legion was part of the 10, or if Legion was one of the final ones, if that makes sense. So to get the last of the demons out, this is graphic, okay? Skip ahead if you need to, but we're going to get graphic.
I'm here for it.
Leanne sat on her exhausted and malnourished body and started to bounce on her torso.
Oh, God.
Until they decided the demons were now in her chest. So she was bouncing on her like lower stomach area and everything. They said the demons are now in her chest. They started then beating and punching this area until they determined that the demons were now in her throat. Now pressing down on her chest and throat in an upward motion, they pried her jaw open to ensure that the demon had a path to get out. She started hissing and frothing, which they believed was the demon leaving. In reality, she was having a heart attack. And that was because her thyroid cartilage had been fractured throughout all of this.
Oh, wow.
And she wound up dying January 30th, 1993, after about a week of this torture. So she had been tied down, starved, beaten, yelled at, and then finally bounced on, pressed on, beaten, jaw pried open, and had a heart attack. The group was not done. They weren't stressed. Ralph said she was going to be resurrected now that all the demons were out. So they prayed over her for 2 days. It was then that when this wasn't working, that they called the minister Roger, who then was the one to call for help.
She's dead already.
Oh, she was very dead. They just waited 2 days for her to resurrect. Now, with the officers at the scene and hearing what they had done, because they readily admitted it, they said everything that they did, and that's how we have this account. They took the group into custody, all of them. All the while, Ralph told everyone who would listen that Joan would be resurrected at her funeral. He invited the media to come and record what was going to happen. And when her coffin hit the dirt, he realized she was not coming back. He was broken, sad, and confused. Had he done the right thing?
No.
Now, a magistrate had stated in September of 1993 that there was not enough evidence to charge the 4, even with their confessions. The ruling was overturned in February 1994 by the Victorian Director of Public Prosecutions, Bernard Bongiorno, and 4 of the group were brought up for trial. So the judge was like, no, we're good. And then he was like, hold the fuck up. We're going to charge them. And the year that followed the murder, Ralph was psychologically tested by Bernard Healy, who was a clinical psychologist, and he stated Ralph was of average intelligence, and he became easily confused and prone to excitability and exaggeration. So you're normal, you're just not normal. So sane but not normal. That makes sense. He took a year to finally accept the fact that Joan was never going to come back. So it took a full year before he believed that his wife would not be resurrected now that all the demons were gone. Ralph was charged and convicted with false imprisonment and reckless injury and received a suspended sentence, serving no jail time. Matthew Newski was charged and convicted of false imprisonment and also received a suspended sentence, serving no jail time. David Klinger was charged with false imprisonment and sentenced to 3 months, and Leanne Reichenbach was sentenced with the largest 4 months for manslaughter and false imprisonment for doing the bouncing. I could not find why her husband was never charged because it's believed that he might have left during the whole ordeal.
Oh.
The police did not believe that any were innocent of the murder, but that they believed that the group believed that they were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So they didn't intend to kill her, is what they're all saying. Now, Ralph stayed in the area for a short time and then left his home in the area to live in Queensland with his 3rd wife. The house remained vacant, sold, but no one ever moved in. And though local youths were using the house as dares in occult practices, we've all seen those, oh, I dare you to go in there and spend the night.
Mr. Johnson's house.
Exactly. And that was happening. And as of 2016, it was purchased twice. So in the interim, but no one ever moved in. Do with that what you will. But as of that same year, the census indicated that the town only had a current population of 63. 63. Not
63,000.
So maybe that's why nobody moved in, because nobody needed the house, because they already had their own. They just wanted to purchase it. Who knows? Nobody knows. It's fine. Now, in 2013, Ralph, aged 75, said that it was the hospital's fault for releasing his wife when she was not ready to be released, and that was to a statement to the Herald Sun. And I could not find out anything further about him, like whether he's still alive or anything. We're not done yet. Again, you're going to learn. I just can't stop when I'm ahead. Because again, I was looking for exorcisms and this other one popped up and I had to talk about it. Sorry. I'm not sorry. Are you sorry? I don't think you're sorry.
No.
Okay.
Rarely.
So, October 6th, 1974, in Austin, England, just before 10 a.m., the Yorkshire police were called for a man who was out on the streets naked and covered in red fluid, which might be paint. So PC Ian Walker responded and found the man, now curled up in the fetal position, covered in the red fluid. It was not paint, it was blood. A witness who was watching the encounter told PC Walker, that man's Michael Taylor. He was a 31-year-old, and they gave him the man's address. Police went to his home to ascertain what happened. I mean, walking into that, I would just be like,
Blood, are you worried?
did you come from home? Why are you naked? Whose blood is that? It's like that Irish meme. Whose horse is that? Okay. They never could have predicted what they would walk in on. So again, sometimes I've got to giggle because I know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. I know what's coming, and So we're going to start with the couple's dog.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Don't
Again,
tell me.
it is.
How far if you don't want to hear it?
It's bad. Like 15 seconds. The couple's dog, it had been strangled and dismembered because he ripped the limbs off.
Oh, my God.
They then saw his 29-year-old wife, Christine, in a horrific state. She had her eyes enucleated.
What's that?
Gouged out.
Oh.
It's my favorite word, so I had to put it in there.
Pretty fun. I've just never heard it.
Oh, yeah. Enucleated and defenestration.
I hate when they do that in the movies with the eye gouging.
Oh, but it's like where the eyes are actually removed, not just like poked in and popped.
Okay.
Because I've seen a few poked in and popped
Yeah.
eyes. By the way, I've never said I'm a forensic scientist. Just so you know, that's why I have seen popped in eyeballs.
And that's why you have big words.
Exactly. But I have never seen like an eyeball removed from a body.
What about like dangling down?
I've not seen that. I've just seen them ruptured. They get ruptured quite easily. But this time the eyes were removed.
Where were they?
I don't know.
I bet he ate them.
Oh, don't say that. Her tongue had been ripped out. Ripped out. And her face was partially peeled off. So after this autopsy, it was determined that all of this had been done without a weapon. He used his hands to do all of this.
Bath salts.
No, we're talking about exorcisms here. So she died from asphyxiation on her own blood. Yes. So the couple's 5 sons had been out of the house that night for good reason. It was a good reason, but the family was just living their life. They weren't religious. Michael was searching for more. This is what happens to a lot of people that find religion. He was grasping. He was lost. So when his friend Barbara Wardman introduced him to the Christian Fellowship Group of Gobber, he and his wife decided to just check it out. Like, I'm just searching for more, so let's go see what happens. The church was led by Marie Robinson, who was just 21, and this was the turning point. He devoted himself to the church, either because of the teachings or because of who was doing the teaching, because he started to become infatuated with Pastor Marie. They were spending more and more time together, attending meetings and gatherings, and the times would be used, they used the quote-unquote power of God to exorcise people from their sins. Apparently, like, this is one of those churches where they speak in tongues.
Weird.
So, yeah, like, you know which ones I'm talking about. We've all seen...
Latin?
No, like
The Exorcist, they spoke funny.
Yeah, but like we've all seen those like videos on social media where they're like dancing around and like,
No.
what?
No, I don't think I've seen.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sending you those videos. And then some people put them to like the Charlie Brown music and
I've seen the dancing, but aren't they speaking in tongues?
yes.
Sure.
So that's what they did. That was like their kind of like religion, which
Choose.
I'm not going to knock anybody's, like, I'm sorry, I won't knock anybody's religion, like the singing, the dancing, or the quiet contemplations, or the speaking in tongues, like whatever you got to do to make it through life, you do you.
Yeah.
It's not my scene, but have at it, because it seems like y'all are having a good time. I'm okay with this, so long as you don't do what this people did.
Don't kill your dog.
Oh, just wait.
Oh, that's smart.
So, because he was spending so much time away from home, and when he was home, he was irritable or sad, his wife started to question what was really happening between him and Marie. So, she brought it up at the next church meeting.
At the meeting?
At the meeting in front of the congregation.
Oh.
Like, what's going on between you two?
Ooh-wee.
Mm-hmm. It didn't go over well because Marie publicly denied having anything other than platonic affection for Michael. And that flipped his switch because he was not in the platonic mindset. Because when a girl says no, apparently that's enough to cause a problem. And he went after her, yelling at her and hitting her until he was restrained by fellow members of the congregation.
The pastor.
He was going after the pastor.
The pastor, wow.
Fellow members of the congregation were like, simmer down now.
Yeah.
Well, they decided. So the very next morning, Michael said he recalled nothing of the incident. So the congregation decided that must have meant he was possessed.
No.
Mm-hmm. So what they saw was a man that was becoming unpredictable, and they were keeping an eye on him. And then finally they started bringing in other ministers, and everyone decided that Michael became like he needed an exorcism. 2 ministers, a young priest and an old priest. Do you not get that joke?
Looking at me?
Because it's a joke.
Did I walk into the bar?
Totally kidding. It's from The Exorcist.
Oh, God.
The movie.
Yeah.
We're going to need a young priest and an old priest.
I don't remember the words of the movie.
Oh, goodness. Okay, but in reality, Father Peter Vincent and Reverend Raymond Smith were brought in for the exorcism. It was going to happen at midnight, October 5th, at St. Tame's Church in Barnsley. The couple were summoned to the church, and he needed to be restrained to the floor after he started to convulse and spit bile. during, I'm sorry, not spit bile, spit and bite.
Oh, I liked bile.
I'm sorry, I have a typo.
Oh, no.
Whatever, okay. They would splash him with holy water, burned him with a cross. They put another cross in his mouth. And after 8 hours, the priests told the congregation they exorcised 40 demons from his body. 3 were still in there that they couldn't expel. It was fine. The 3 that were left were murder, violence, and insanity.
Oh,
It's fine.
good traits to have.
You know what, though? It's fine. He could go home with his wife.
This dog.
Go ahead. They literally let him go. Now, not everyone was on board, including the minister's wife, but no one actually heeded her warning. And it was hours later that the police were called.
Wow.
So, police immediately put Michael into custody, checking him in for evaluation. He was ranting and raving about how he was covered in the blood of Satan. He finally told police about the exorcism, said that he remembered nothing about the murder. Police charged him with the murder, and he was remanded to Broadmoor to wait for trial. The trial began March of 1975. It included Michael testifying that he was under the control of these evil forces: murder, violence, and insanity. Defended by Mr. Ognell, he was seeding doubts about the church and their methods and what they had done to Michael preceding the murder. He said that really the guilt would lie with them and that Michael was a conduit for their actions. So basically, he never would have done this had you not done this exorcism.
Had she not told him no, he wouldn't have needed the exorcism.
Yeah.
That seems to really fire a lot of men up that are like murderers, being told no.
But and that's exactly it. So even if you think that the church was in the wrong, it still all started with Michael blowing his gasket because he was told no when a girl didn't want him. She was 21. Anyhow, the jury declared him, what do you think?
Insane? Oh, I'm sorry. Guilty or not guilty? Is that what we're doing? Probably not guilty because he wasn't in the right mind, or...
You are dead nuts. Not even kidding, y'all. He went back to Broadmoor for 2 years, 2 more at Bradford Royal Infirmary. Then he was out.
Oh my God.
After his release, he allegedly attempted suicide 4 times before he entered the news again in 2005 because he was charged with sexually harassing an underage girl. Do we expect more? Less? I don't know. Shockingly, the court ruled that the murder of his wife had no bearing on this sexually harassing of an underage girl case, and that he was at a low risk to reoffend. So he was given 3 years of community service, and he needed to undergo psychiatric treatment.
What state is this in again?
It's Europe somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the last I could find on this case. I don't know whether he's alive or not, where the 5 kids are, where he went. But that's because I didn't want to pay money for books.
Right.
There's books on this case, but I'm broke. But yeah. Now, wrapping this up, the Vatican still performs exorcisms to this day. They say there's a group of 250 specially trained priests known as the International Association of Exorcists. They work in 30 countries, and they are trained to determine if the affliction may be a mental health issue or a true demonic possession. And a true demonic possession, according to them, is extremely rare, but still exists to this day.
Yeah, I found out that there's guys still going around doing I don't want to say 90 a day, but they're doing a lot a day. And then baptism is a form of exorcism.
No, is it?
Should I maybe have to use that as my fact?
I mean, you still can. We're still recording.
Yeah, baptism was a form of exorcism. Martin Luther King used to do them all the time.
For heck. Like I said, all of this is news to me.
And I was not baptized.
Me neither. I have a sister that was, but only one of them.
The oldest one?
Yeah. It is what it is. But anywho, again, I hope that you guys enjoy this. Again, understand we have growing pains. If this is not auditorily perfection for you, just hang with us. We'll figure it out. All right. Bye.
The views and thoughts expressed in this podcast are ours alone and do not represent the thoughts or opinions of anyone else. The information presented is for general information purposes only. We are not liable for anything you do with this information.